another live stream, trying to get the use, and the feel for it. I'm taking it easy for the next few days. When I was at UPS on Wednesday, I slipped and fell and busted up my knee, so I haven't been doing a lot of like heavy lifting there. Um, so I'm trying to take it easy for the next few days. Hopefully my knee will heal up. From that, they went. I was debating about whether to go to work on Monday because it's Martin Luther King Day, but I'm going to go anyway because I need the money, and Martin Luther King Day for UPS is double time pay, so I'm not going to say no to double time pay when I need it, especially in this time. So we're going to get into more of the union handbook. We left off on Article 18 last week, so now we're moving into 19 on up. So Article 19 is posting. Basically, UPS, every time there's an opening, they're supposed to put up on their board that there's an opening in whatever department that there is. And that's how people bid on the jobs, is by doing that. Now, the employer agrees to supply and provide suitable space for the union bulletin board in each center, hub, or place of work. Now, postings by the union on such board are to be confined to official business of the union and on the union's official letterhead or titans. In each package center, there shall be a covered bulletin board. Union stewards shall have a key for the union bulletin boards, and the employer shall not remove, tamper with, or alter any notice that's posted by the union. Union unless such notice is harmful to the employer. Any such notice removed by the employer shall be reposted if the union's position is sustained through the grievance procedure. Article 20, Examination and Identification Fees. Section 20, Article 1, Required Examinations. Physical, mental, or other examinations that are required by a government body or the employer shall be promptly complied with by all employers or employees, provided, however, the employer shall not pay for any time spent in the case of applicants for the jobs, but shall be responsible to other employees only for time spent at the place of the examination or examinations where the time spent by the employee exceeds 2 hours. And in that case, only for those hours is in excess of said 2 hours examination, they are to be taken at the employee's home area and are not to exceed one in any 1 year unless the employee has suffered serious injury or illness within that year. Now, the employees shall not be required to take examination during their working hours unless paid by the employer for all time spent. Employees shall be given reasonable notice of dates or examinations. Now, for those drivers subject to DOT regulations who possess a valid medical certification from a designated DOT provider, the employer shall pay for any additional physical, mental, or other examinations required by the employer to confirm the validity of the medical certificate. Section 20, Article 2, Return to Work Examination. It's understood by the employer and the union that once an employee notifies the employer that has been released to return to work by the employee's doctor, the company doctor must examine the employee within 3 working days from the time the employee brings the return to work slip to the employer. Now, speaking of injuries, since I suffered one on Wednesday, every time that somebody gets injured on the job tries to make it sound like it's your fault, even if it's not. And that's what they try to make it sound like for me on Wednesday. They try to make it sound like it was my fault and that I wasn't paying attention, even though I was. Section 20, Article 3, Third Doctor Procedure. The employer reserves the right to select its own medical examiner or doctor, and the union may, if it believes an injustice has been done to an employee, have said employee re-examined at the employee's expense. If the 2 doctors disagree, the employer and the union shall mutually agree upon a third doctor within 10 working days, and whose decision shall be final and binding on the employer, the union, and the employee. Neither the employer nor the union shall attempt to circumvent the decision of the third doctor, and the expense of the third doctor shall be equally divided between the employer and the union. Now if the third doctor agrees that the employee should be should be returned to work, the employee shall be reimbursed at their daily guarantee, less than any other monies received back to the date of the examination of the company doctor. It shall exclude any time that the employee was not available for any examination or work. Um, Anybody that's tuning in is free to hop on, leave a question, let me know what you guys are thinking. I welcome people to come on the live streams whenever I do them, because it's good to get to know your fan base this way. Um, Section 20, um, article Section 20, Article 4, disqualified driver, an alternative work, except as provided for in Article 16. A driver who is judged medically unqualified to drive, is considered physically fit and qualified to perform other inside jobs, shall be afforded that opportunity to displace the least senior full-time or part-time employee inside at such work until they can return to their driving job unless otherwise provided by this agreement. While performing the inside work, the driver shall be paid the appropriate rate of pay for the job performed based on their seniority. If no full-time inside position is available, the employer shall meet with the union to develop a full-time position if possible outside of the available work. Section 20, Article 5, identification. Should the employer find it unnecessary to require employees to carry or record personal identification, such requirement shall be complied with by the employees, and the cost of such personal identification shall be borne by the employer with up to 2 replacements. All management personnel shall wear an ID badge or name tag identifying them as supervision while on duty and shall provide their name upon request. The O'Hare Gateway facility, seniority employees shall be paid 3 hours at their current straight time hourly rate of pay when required to obtain the airport badge. This includes obtaining the initial badge and any recertification badge. Article 21, union activity. Any employer or any employee member of the union acting in any official capacity whatsoever shall not be discriminated against for acts as such officer of the union, so long as such acts do not interfere with the conduct of the employer's business, nor shall there be any discrimination against any employee because of union membership or activities. Any employer or any employee shall have the right to wear a union pin. Article 22, part-time employees, which is me, because UPS has such a backlog on full-time, you could be waiting years to get in as a full-time worker. No part-time employee. Section 22. Okay, this is Article 22, Section 22, Article 1. No part-time employee shall drive except when no full-time employee or combination full-time employees on the premises, to avoid delay in the work, or as provided for in Article 40, air operation. Section 22, Article 2. The number of permanent full-time inside jobs in each union area as of April 30th, 1979 shall be guaranteed from replacement by part-time employees. In addition, the number of permanent full-time inside jobs created after April 30th of 1979 under the provision of Section 3 shall also be guaranteed from replacement by part-time employees. The exception to the above shall be in cases of bona fide agreement that are prior to the ratification of this agreement. Now, Section 22, Article 3, the parties agree that providing the part-time employees the opportunity to become full-time employers is a priority in this agreement. Accordingly, the employer commits that during the time of this agreement, it shall offer part-time employees the opportunity to fill at least 500 permanent full-time openings throughout this operation covered by this agreement. This commitment shall include the obligation to create at least a number of full-time combination jobs to be protected under the 2018 to 2023 agreement, and as follows: 125, 17 in the third year of the contract, and 50 in the fourth year, and 58 in the fifth year of this agreement. In creating these jobs, the company shall be allowed up to should be up to 1 and 1.5 hour gap between the jobs in a work day. The number of full-time jobs created under Article 22, Section 3 of the 1997 to 2002 and the 2002 to 2008 and 2013 to 2018 and to 2023 and the 2018 to 2023 agreements shall not be reduced. The full-time combination employee work rules. Um, 1. All newly created or vacated 2022. Sorry. 1. All newly created or vacated 22.3 jobs shall be bid to all full-time employees and full-time seniority, and to part-time employees on part-time seniority order on a 1 for 3 basis. 1 full-time and then 3 directly to part-time. Now, if a full-time rotation bid is not filled by a part-time employee, it could be bid on to the part-time workforce according to the procedure in section B below. The successful bidder's hourly rate should be commensurate with the position into which they bid on. Part-time employees with at least 3 years of seniority shall be eligible to place their names on the combination job intent list for local 75 jurisdiction, and this list will be used to fill the rotational bid to the part-time and the rotational bid to the part-time employees, and will also be used if there is not a successful bidding employee and above. Part-time employees on the intent list who declined a third full-time job offer within the local 75 jurisdiction will have their name removed from the 22.3 combination job intent list and be ineligible to have their name added back to the list for a period of up to 1 year. If the job is not filled in accordance with B above, it will be bid to the remaining part-time employees at the building where the opening exists. Local 75 shall receive an updated list of employees in seniority order that are on the combination job intent on a monthly basis via electronic mail. The names removed that month under section B above will be highlighted with the dates the jobs were declined. Now, Local 75 shall receive an updated list of all 22.3 employees on a monthly basis via the electronic mail, and which shall include the total number of the 2022.3 jobs. They always have that listed in my area too. Like every outbound has a 22.3 job thing listed. But because I have not been there for 3 years, I can't put my name on that bidding list until I'm ready to, until I get my 3 years in. Employees who have gone through a full-time progression and bid into an Article 22.3 job should not be obligated to undergo a second full-time wage progression. Like I said, UPS offers a pay raise every August. I'm not sure what the pay raise is because I haven't hit August yet. This August will be almost my 1 year mark because my 1 year mark for UPS will be in September. So I'll get my first raise this August, and we'll see from there what the raise is. And I'm also in this time frame. I've been on the hunt for a second job too because UPS, their hours are kind of iffy. Either 1 week you get 20 hours, 1 week it's 25. Right now that's not enough, especially when you're living in Illinois. You got to have a second job as a fallback, and that's what I've been looking for, is trying to find a second job to make up for it. So 22.3 employees shall be limited to 1 successful bid in a calendar year. Article 22.3 home center shall be determined by the employer and shall be indicated on the day off schedule. For purposes of resolving issues relating to payroll, attendance, vacation selection, and employees shall maintain a contact with the employer through their supervisor of the home center to which that they are assigned to. Now, Section 22.4 says part-time employees shall be given the opportunity to fill full-time jobs before hiring them from the outside on a 6-for-1 basis, 6 part-time to every 1 outside hire. The following shall be incorporated into the job selection procedures of this agreement. The employer shall fill all vacancies and permanent new job for part-time employees from the part-time selection list in all months except November and December. They do hire a lot of seasonal workers. The seasonal workers are hired between November and December. I just made the cutoff because I got hired in September, so I got hired before the seasonal portion, and that was great for me to do that. Part-time employees with seniority shall have the right to place their names on the list of employees waiting to be moved to a preferred job within their building. Like such preferred jobs shall include, but not limited to, preload, sorter, clerical, irregular train, designated responder, car washer, loader, and unloader. Employees do not have the right to select any specific unit, mode, or workstation unless a prior past practice has been established. Um, a maximum of 25% of the employees on the shift shall be allowed to change shifts in any one calendar year, but the employee obtaining the new position should remain on that shift for at least 6 months. If they decide that after 6 months they don't want it, then they can go back to their own. Section 22.5 breaks down wages. 1. All part-time employees who have obtained seniority as of August 1st of 2023 shall receive the following general wage increases for each contract year. The total wage increase for each year shall be as follows. Now this is dating back to 2023 because this book is good for 5 years. It's good up until 2028. So if you were hired by UPS before 2023, you would have got a damn near $3 raise. It was like $2.75 of a raise if you got hired in before then. 2024, it just went up 75 cents. So this is 2025. So supposedly we're supposed to get a 75-cent raise, a dollar next year, and $2.25 in 2027. So 75 and 70. So 75 and then a dollar. Damn. Okay. Any seniority part-time employee below $21 after the application of the general wage increase shall be raised to the minimum of $21 an hour, and shall thereafter be eligible for the above general wage increase and the one long-term longevity increase below. Right now, UPS starts their workers off at $21 an hour. Once you put your time in, you could be making more than that. After application of the GWI in the minimum $21 rate, the following one-time longevity increases shall become part of the applicable employee's base wage rate based on the original hire date. 5 years up to 10 years of service, 50 cents per hour. 10 to 15 years, you get $1, and then over 15 years, you get $1.50 per hour. Now, that's your increase. The applicable longevity increase will be applied for each eligible employee on August 1st of 2023. For example, if an employee's date of hire is August 1st of 2002 and effective on August 1st of 2023, the employer will receive the $2.75 increase and the $1.50 per hour longevity wage increase based on the accrued 22 years of service, if not longer. Now, newly hired part-time employees, which is me, because all part-time employees who are hired or reach seniority after August 1st of 2023 shall be paid according to the following wage progression. After a year, you get supposedly start off at 21 an hour. After a year, you get like $21.50. Then after 2 years, $22. After 36, $22.50, and then you should reach 23 by the end of this contract. And then they will renew it, and then they'll start adding more. The start rate for part-time employees hired after August 1st of 2027 shall be increased to $23 an hour, and employees already in progression shall be raised to $23 an hour on August 1st of 2027. Now, the wage rates and increases provided in A and B shall be a minimum basically shall be a minimum. All part-time employees governed by this article shall be provided a minimum daily 3 1/2 hour guarantee. So basically, when you get hired in, even though it's part-time, you're guaranteed 3.5 hours. A lot of times, UPS will try to send you home before 3.5 hours, and that's why a lot of people are looking for second jobs or they're leaving, because 3.5, even that's not a lot. But they sent me home twice last week, 2 hours into my shift, and I wasn't making any money doing that. I'm like, I gotta be here at least 3 hours, if not longer. I'm like, you can't just be sending me home all the fucking time. So that's why I'm looking for a second job, because it's like 3.5 hours is not a lot. I can't constantly keep coming in to be sent home an hour and a half to 2 hours into the shift. It just doesn't, I don't make money that way. So basically, if you're a part-time employee, you're guaranteed 3.5, but if you're a full-time employee, you're guaranteed 8 to 10. Um, Now, should any part-time employee go beyond the fifth hour, they shall be paid time and a half, the regular rate for all time worked in excess of 5 hours. Um, Section 22, Article 6, part-time employees who do not meet the qualifications for driving after the 40-hour or the 40-day probationary period shall be ineligible for another attempt for 1 year. Part-time employees who do not meet the qualifications for driving um, after a second 40-day probationary period shall be ineligible for another attempt for a period of up to 2 years. Um, Section 22, Article 7. If any part-time employee subsequently becomes a regular full-time employee, they shall be considered a newly hired full-time employee. At any such time, they shall be entitled to such other benefits as provided in this agreement. Basically, your benefits do get better once you become full-time. Um, Part-time employees who become a full-time employees shall, after 1 year of service as a full-time employee, get credit for their part-time service for vacation purpose. All earned and unused part-time vacation benefits shall be paid out to the employee upon the said employee successfully completing the required probationary period. Um, Now, Section 22, Article 8, part-time employees shall be given a paid break of 10 minutes per day. Break shall, and I hardly ever take a break anyway. I never really get one. Now, part-time employees shall be given a paid break of up to 10 minutes per day, but breaks shall not be scheduled prior to 1 hour of work being performed. Part-time employees who work over 7 hours on a single shift shall be given an additional 10 minutes paid break. Now, part-time employees who work over 7 hours, yeah, like I said, they get 10 minutes. They get 10 minutes and an additional 10 on top of that. But part-time employees who double shift shall be given an additional paid break of up to 10 minutes during that second shift. Section 22, Article 9. Part-time employees shall work off of the part-time seniority list in each center. Seniority shall prevail for extra work, and the work shall be assigned by seniority within the classification and work area to those who are qualified, present, and available at that particular time. Section 22, Article 10. Part-time employees' starting times must be posted by Friday of the preceding work week, except for those employees on an alternate work week schedule as determined in Article 46, Section 1B, whose starting times must be posted by the last scheduled workday on each day week. Section 22, Article 11. The use of part-time employees or the staggering of their starting time should not be used to defeat a full-time job. Section 22, Article 12, Vacation. An employee who has been employed for at least up to 1 year from their anniversary date of hiring and has worked 625 hours in that one working year shall be entitled to 1 week vacation with pay computed at 25 times their straight time hourly rate of pay. No, vacation pay will be computed at 25 times their straight time hourly rate of pay, but employees shall pick a vacation by part-time seniority with 30 days to pick, November 1st through November 30th, and scheduled vacations from December 26th through the week ending Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Now, the employee shall be ready to pick up when asked at the rate of 25% pay per week in seniority order. Now, the employees shall be able to pick any week during their step up year and be paid for such week. If not ready, the employee shall be passed over and pick what is available when ready. Upon completion of the vacation selection process and not later than January 1st, the employer shall provide the union with a copy of all vacation selections sent to the attention of the union secretary treasurer. The employer and union shall agree upon a selection form to provide the employees to document their vacation selections. The employer shall provide a copy to the employee and the union at the time of selection. Now, an employee, other than in their first year of employment, who has worked not less than 625 years in a year from their anniversary date of hiring, shall be entitled to vacation pay according to the following schedule: 1 year, 25 hours; 3 years, 50; 9 years, 75; 15 years, 100 hours; 20 years, 125; and 25 years, 150; and then 30 years, 175. Any part-time employee who is eligible for full vacation and who resigns or whose services are terminated shall receive pay for their number of weeks vacation as set forth in the subsection or their then completed hours of service. Any part-time employee after their first year of employment who resigns or whose services are terminated but who has not worked 625 hours shall be entitled to receive a pro rata vacation to be computed according to the formula below. The formula shall also apply to employees still on the payroll who have worked less than 625 hours during their anniversary year. The pro rata shall be computed on a percentage basis by dividing the number of straight time hours worked into 625, and that shall equal the percent of vacation paid. Now, if any holiday falls during an employee's vacation, they shall indicate at the time of selecting said week which of the following options the employee wishes. You can take the 4 hours pay in lieu of the holiday to be paid with the vacation, and the Friday prior to starting vacation off as the paid holiday, or the last scheduled workday for those employees on the alternate work week schedule as defined in Article 46, Section 1B. The Monday following vacation off as a paid holiday, or the first scheduled workday for those employees on an alternate work schedule as defined in Article 46, Section 1B. They can hold a paid holiday and use an additional optional holiday, and note the Friday before and the Monday after a week within the holiday, and it shall be restricted to only one person each day, and assigned to those looking to exercise that option by seniority. The locking in of these 2 days supersedes any option request days. Also, like I said, with the vacation time at UPS, you also have an option week, which can be used as your second week of vacation. So basically, even though I've been there for a little over, I'm coming up on a year in September. I actually will have 2 weeks of vacation, but I can choose to use the option week, but I don't have to. Unused option days shall be paid in full the first week of December each year. Now, discretionary discretionary days, see Article 53, on which we have not gotten to yet. Section 22, Article 13, Health and Welfare. The part-time medical coverage, and that says see Article 34.1, which we're not anywhere close to that one yet. Okay, so Section 22.14, UPS has a pension plan. Part-time employees shall be covered under the United Parcel Service Inc. pension plan as required by law, and not by the local union number 705 pension plan. It's always good to have a pension plan. That's basically like your other retirement. UPS has a 401k and a pension plan, and those are both like your retirement things that you could get when you retire from the job. Section 22, Article 15, part-time employees, educational, non-educational transfer. Part-time employees who wish to transfer to another location for educational purposes may submit a written request to the employer. In addition, the part-time employees who wish to transfer to another location for non-educational purposes may submit a written request to the employer, provided that the facility in question are more than 50 miles apart. The transfer shall be allowed subject to the following condition: a part-time employee opening exists at the desired location. Employees must have attained seniority and been employed by the employer for at least up to 1 year, if not longer. Job classification seniority shall be entailed. Now the company's seniority shall be retained for the purpose of number of weeks of vacation and number of holidays in accordance with the applicable supplement at the new location. Any expenses, including and moving expenses associated with an approved transfer, shall be the responsibility of the employee. Now, it is the employee's responsibility to verify all benefits, including but not limited to medical, dental, vision, retirees' medical coverages, and pensions at the requested transfer location. The employer shall be required to notify the local union that has jurisdiction over the requested transfer location that the employee has been transferred to that location. Um, Nothing in this section shall conflict nor restrict an employee's transfer rights listed in Section 22.16. So here we go. Section 22, Article 16. Part-time employee jurisdictional transfer. A part-time employee with at least 1 year of seniority who becomes aware of an opening in the same classification at another location under Local 705 jurisdiction may request a transfer at their own expense. If more than one employee expresses an interest in the position, seniority will prevail. The employee shall entail onto the seniority list and shall maintain company seniority for the purpose of determining the benefits. Now, the employee will become ineligible for another transfer for a period of no less than 1 calendar year from the date of that transfer. Section 22, Article 17, Benefit Entitlements. Part-time employees hired after August 1st, 2008 shall receive holidays, personal days, and option days provided by this agreement no earlier than after 1 year of service employment. Article 23, Separation of Employment. Upon discharge, the employer shall pay all money due to the employee during the first payroll department working day. Upon quitting, the employer shall pay all money due to the employee on the payday in the week following the week that they quit. Article 24, Inspection Privileges. Authorized representatives of the union shall have access to the employer's establishment during the working hours for the purpose of adjusting disputes, instigating any working conditions, collections of dues, and asserting and ascertaining that this agreement is being adhered to, provided, however, that there is no intention of the employer's working schedule. The employer agrees that in situations where a specific form of identification may be required by law to access a location, that shall assist at the union in attaining such identification so as to perform their duties consistent with this article. Article 25, Separability and Savings. If any article or section of this agreement shall be held invalid by operation of law or by any tribunal of competent jurisdiction, or if compliance with or enforcement of any article or section should be restrained by such tribunal pending a final determination as to its validity, the remainder of this agreement or the application of such article or section to persons or circumstances other than those as to which it has been held invalid, or as to which compliance with or enforcement of has been restrained, shall not be affected thereby. In the event that any article or section is held invalid, or enforcement of or compliance with which has been restrained as above set forth, the parties affected thereby shall enter into intermediate collective bargaining negotiations after the receipt of written notice of the desired amendment by either the employer or the union for the purpose of arriving at a mutually satisfactory replacement of such article or section during the period of invalidity or restraint. Now, there shall be no limitations of time for such written notice if the parties do not agree on a mutually satisfactory replacement within 60 days after receipt of the stated written notice. Either party shall be permitted all legal and economic recourse in support of its demands, notwithstanding any provisions of disagreement to the contrary. Article 26 is completion. The union recognizes that the employer is in direct competition with the United States Postal Service and other firms engaging in the distribution of express letter, parcel express, parcel delivery, and freight, both air and surface, in order to meet that competition and thereby protect and, if possible, increase the number of bargaining unit jobs. It is agreed that any provisions in this agreement to the contrary, notwithstanding the employer. So basically, if you work UPS, you cannot work any type of other job that has packages. So you cannot work for the post office. You cannot work for the FedEx, Amazon, any other jobs like that. You cannot work them if you work UPS. And if you do, let's say you work UPS, but you work for FedEx or Amazon, it's an automatic firing from either one of the jobs. And once they find out, they may, Section 26, Article 1, you may use substitute means of transportation such as airplane, helicopter, ship, or TOFC in its operation, provided, however, that no feeder driver with more than 3 years of seniority in the feeder driver classification shall be laid off or displaced from a feeder classification as a result of a run being placed on the rail. However, the employer shall not be required to remove loads from the rail to provide work for employees whose ground loads were eliminated or temporarily discontinued. Any claimed abuse of this section by any of the unions shall be subject to immediate review by the UPS Local 75 Grievance Committee. Now, any merchandise that has been rendered by United Parcel Service to the railroad and moved by TOFC should not subsequently be moved by the railroad on the ground or to its final destination. Any exception to the above language shall be in case of an emergency or cases where the railroad must ground the merchandise early to meet the company's service commitment. In any of these cases, every effort shall be made to use UPS employees. Now, the bargaining unit employees shall move scheduled TOFC loads from the rail yards to UPS locations except during the peak season. During peak season, the employer shall make every reasonable effort to use current UPS employees and hire a sufficient number of employees to handle peak volume. Now, after doing so, the employer may use alternate means of transporting packages during peak season and shall utilize union carriers whenever possible. Now, plans to utilize outside carriers shall be reviewed and agreed within the union. Such agreement should not be unreasonably withheld. Now, the company will establish a designated areas year-round for outside carriers to drop off and pick up their designated loads and shall review those areas within the union. Outside carriers shall only remain on property in the designated area for a reasonable amount of time, not to exceed 1 hour after their arrival date. From the Monday prior to Thanksgiving and prior to Thanksgiving and until December 30th, outside carriers shall not exceed 4 hours on property. If a contractor exceeds the timelines, they must leave the UPS property. All outside carriers shall adhere to UPS safety regulations and local yard rules. Now, any violations of these regulations and rules will be addressed immediately by management. Now they may drop the loaded or empty trailers at locations designated by its customers or co-signees for customer loading or unloading. It is understood that customers and the co-signees shall not move trailers for loading and or unloading other than on the premises. But it's further understood that dropping and picking up these trailers shall be done by members of the bargaining unit. All loading and unloading of dropped shipments at UPS locations shall be done by bargaining unit employees. The employer may transition to a 7-day period delivery operation at locations that currently only utilize 5 or 6-day operations. The employer agrees that prior to any transition to a 7-day period of operation, it shall notify the local 75 in writing with the specific details and information that's been made available, and then meet jointly with them to inform them of the proposed change and to resolve questions raised in connection with the effects of the proposed challenge. Yeah, I haven't had any coffee yet today, but I have been taking it easy. Especially, I injured myself on Wednesday. I banged up my knee, and the company tried to make it sound like it was my fault. So basically, they asked me if I had to go to a clinic. I was pushing the rollers in at UPS, and I tripped over the sleigh bar that they had that has the little arch handle on it. And my knee, and so when I fell, my knee hit that arch bar, and I hit it so hard that my knee was bleeding. And they tried to make it sound like it was my fault for the injury, but that was not the case. And then they tried to talk to me like shit, which I did not put up with. So now, so basically, you get to meet with them jointly to inform them of the proposed change and to resolve questions that are raised in connection with the effects of the proposed change. During the joint meeting, the employer and the union shall reduce to writing all agreed upon issues, and both parties shall sign the written document in acknowledgement of such agreement. The parties shall also reduce to writing all unresolved issues, if any. Now, this meeting shall be completed where practical at least 45 days prior to the implementation of the 7-day operation. The 7-day operation may not be implemented until the 45 days notice is provided and the meeting is completed. Local 75 shall not unreasonably delay the scheduling or completion of the requested meeting, Any unresolved issues shall, which have been reduced to writing, will be resolved pursuant to Article 8. And it's good to see you, CM. So it's good to see that somebody joined in. Now, the provision in this section 1F shall apply to peak delivery operations where employees utilize their personal vehicles. Existing part-time employees shall be allowed to sign an intent list or an interest list between August 15th and September 15th of each year to perform this extra work between November 1st and the end of the seasonal period in the local 75 agreement. Now, existing part-time employees who have signed the intent list shall perform work covered by this section before the new hires referenced below. Below existing part-time employees who have signed the intent list shall be offered the work opportunities in accordance with the provisions of the local 75 agreement. Now, part-time employees shall be paid their inside rate or the RPCD start rate, whichever is higher. Part-time employees performing their inside job and seasonal package deliveries using their own vehicle shall have an 8-hour daily guarantee, but shall be obligated to complete their inside job in addition to performing any seasonal support work. Now, if peak delivery needs are not met by existing part-time employees, the employer may hire seasonal support drivers who use their personal vehicles to deliver packages between November 15th and December 26th of each year. Seasonal support drivers will be part-time seasonal hires, W-2 employees, and union members in accordance with Article 3, Section 2. The union shall be provided access to these employees for the purpose of encouraging them to join the union. Now, these employees will receive a 3-hour daily guarantee rate. Such employees shall be entitled to all privileges and benefits that may be provided in the local 75 agreement. Once you get hired in at UPS, after 30 days, after you reach your 30-day mark, you're in the union, and then they can't get rid of you that way because it's harder for them to get rid of you once you're in the union. Both existing and seasonal support drivers covered by this section shall be reimbursed at the applicable IRS rate for all miles driven to perform deliveries and be provided insurance coverage for their vehicle while performing work. In no event shall the implementation of this section serve to diminish the overtime opportunities for the RPCDs not using the protection of Article 37. Section 1, as of September 1st of that year or after bid delivery area routes for the RPCDs. Section 22 Section 26 Article 2, a joint UPS 705 completion committee shall be created with an equal number of employer and the union representatives. Now, the committee shall meet on a quarterly basis to discuss and evaluate proposals which, if adopted by the committee, and they could create additional bargaining unit jobs and enable the employer to more effectively compete with any other companies, implement new services and projects, or change existing services. Nothing within the provision of this agreement shall require the employer to offer or maintain any particular service or product. Section 22, Article 3. The company commits to provide additional work opportunities for feeder drivers from existing equipment balance movement, seasonal trailer delivery, and movement for equipment repair. It's agreed upon that no feeder drivers shall suffer a layoff as a result of the above-mentioned opportunities provided that they can perform the work. Section 26, Article 4. In order to retain existing commercial customers that are solicited by a competitor offering services similar to those described herein, they are to attract new commercial customers. The company may offer service contracts that include the delivery of packages by the USPS. Packages eligible for such delivery will normally be less than 10 pounds in weight and less than 2 cubic feet in size, in accordance with paragraph 2. The company shall employ technology prior to the applicable preload operation, which identifies packages in excess of 10 pounds or 2 cubic feet shipped via SurePost, so that they are redirected to bargaining unit drivers. Further, UPS agrees that the SurePost will not be presented as a general service offering except at UPS stores. Now, This service will only be offered for shipping from a business to a residential customer. The company agrees that it will not use SurePost as a basis to diminish the size of the bargaining unit. Notwithstanding any provision to the contrary, UPS agrees that it will increase, as provided below, the number of SurePost packages that are redirected to the bargaining unit and on a contract year basis, as measured by the national average daily volume. The redirected volume will be increased by 2% as compared to the national ADV per calendar year. Now, for contract year beginning August 1st of 2023, and for each of the following contract year ending dates, the percentage of volume redirected shall be as follows: August 1st of 2024, 44%; 2025, 45%; 2026, 46%; and 2027, 48%; and 2028, 50%. Now, hold on here. I should try to get some people in here that have I should try to get some people in at UPS, because if UPS has a referral bonus, I should try to refer somebody to UPS to try to get some money, to get some extra money that I might need. Let's see if that's right. Hold on here. It's going to ask me for a text. Okay. Let's see if that goes through. The union knows about it. But I rejected to go to the clinic because my knee wasn't as bad. I just bruised it up a little bit, but I wasn't like hurting enough for me to go to a doctor. So I chose not to go to a doctor, but I had the option to go. But I still have the injury on my knee, and it is pretty painful. Let's see here if I can show that for a minute. It hurts like hell, I'm telling you. And especially it's my left knee. You can see that right here. This is the injury to my knee. So you can see my knee right here. It hurts like hell. I bruised it up pretty good. Yeah, it might take a few days for that to heal up. Hold on, let me see if I can rotate this. Yeah, it does. It was painful when I fell. I was pushing the rollers and I fell on top of a metal bar. Yeah, so anything metal related, it does look painful. So, but every time somebody falls at work, the job tries to make it out like it's your fault. And I felt pretty hard that I was bleeding pretty bad. Yeah, it's never easy, I'm telling you. Trying to see if this will let me in or not. What is this? Is this for this? Yeah. We also been taking care of some stuff at the at the house too. We the other day we had a pipe burst in the house, and our kitchen got flooded. So we had somebody come in, and they're doing work on the house. They had to tear up the whole ceiling in the kitchen because that's where it leaked from. the whole ceiling got destroyed. So they're gonna put a new ceiling in the kitchen. Um, not always easy either, I'm telling you. Um, um, no, I don't want that. Yeah, I'm trying to look up something on the portal here, but I was trying to see if I could find it, but not always easy. Some of these things are temperamental. Um, but the one thing is that I will be reaching my 1 year mark with UPS in September, and I actually time is just flying right now. Um, let's go to this here, see if I can get in on this. Sometimes these things will log you out for no reason whatsoever. Let's go to my personal information. Even though I don't really have to update any information here because my stuff is already up to date. Okay, and these portals, they have almost everything, like your contact information, personal info, emergency contact if you ever need one, photo, legal name, about me, addresses, email address changes, or name. There's a section on here to do direct deposit. There's a section on here if you want a preferred name. The thing about me is basically how long so the about me thing is basically how long I've been in the position and who my manager is. See, I'm not sure how to read all this, but so I started working for UPS on September 16th of 2024. So that's how long I've been there, since September. Years of service is 0.34. I'm not sure how to read that, or how they would take that. Basically, my job profile is loader, unloader. Basically, I load trucks and I unload them with any broken or damaged packages. Any packages that are broken or damaged, we take those out. But we load up the packages that are still in a good condition. Full-time equivalency is 50%, so I have a 50% chance of going full-time, but I could be waiting forever to try to get it. Management level associate, I don't see myself as being a manager and don't want to be. I have no upcoming absences in the next 30 days because I don't take a whole lot of absences. Overview is basically kind of the same thing. Summary, okay, that's kind of the same thing. And then job, that's kind of the same thing. Compensation basically tells you what your pay is by the hour. Basically, anybody that's fairly newer starts off at 21, and then they work their way up to a higher paid position. Basically, I have a cell phone. I don't have a house phone. If anybody needs to contact me, it's always through my cell phone. I just did a change of address too, so basically all my mail is coming to my new address. UPS gets paid every Thursday. So basically it's weekly. That's kind of a good thing. I like jobs that pay every week. I hate having to do a job that pays every two, because you can blow through money within a week and then you still have to wait a couple weeks before you get paid again. I like the fact that UPS pays every Thursday, so I know where my money's coming in. Then you have your election. Basically, UPS has three ways. You got your paper check, direct deposit, or a pay card. I prefer direct deposit. So my money just goes to the bank, and I don't have to worry about taking a check to the bank to go deposit it in. So I just have my direct deposit, and I don't have to worry. Um, um, Also, you have the right to put up like how many languages you speak. I don't speak a whole lot of languages. Certifications, don't really have any. Education, I did go to high school, but never really attended college. So you have that, and we just keep that open. But let's get back to this book. Um, Now, the company will continue to use technology that identifies 2 or more SurePost packages to be delivered to the same address, and or any combination of SurePost packages and ground packages to be delivered to the same address. In such circumstances, all of those SurePost packages and ground packages will be delivered by package drivers. The company will maintain and update the technology that identifies multiple addresses in close proximity, um, defined as within 100 feet to which any combination of SurePost and ground packages are to be delivered. Now, the company will monitor and test the technology used for redirect to ensure it is operating in accordance with the parameters of this section, and not less frequently than annually, and shall provide evidence of the testing to the union. The company shall meet with the competition committee to review any potential expansion of the volumes to be redirected, and determined if it is economically feasible to handle a UPS operation. Now, the company shall not deactivate or interfere with the operation of technology that redirects SurePost volume in the company unless volume is being rolled in a building due to delivery constraints. In such event, redirect will only be activated for the affected buildings. The redirect technology shall be maintained to ensure that it is impossible for any local employer operations and representatives to suspend its operation. Now, the joint UPS IBT competition committee will meet on a quarterly basis to review the progress of the service and discuss potential technological enhancements that will allow the SurePost volume to be placed back in the UPS system for the final mile delivery. Any issues or disputes related to the SurePost service that cannot be resolved by the competition committee shall be referred directly to the chairs of the union and the UPS national negotiating committees for discussion and resolution. In addition, the union may notify the employer of any opportunities to include additional addresses. Now, if a driver or inside employee identifies a package designated for SurePost that is clearly more than 10 pounds and are larger than the 2 cubic feet, the package shall be removed from the system and redirected for delivery by a package driver unless the employer cannot deliver to that specified address. Now, the employer shall ensure its employees are made aware of the opportunity to redirect packages in excess of the limits set forth in this section. The company will maintain an exception resolution application to ensure that packages to the appropriate package driver, that no employee shall be disciplined for redirecting a package pursuant to this paragraph. In the event of a war, so Article 27. Emergency reopening. In the event of war, declaration of emergency, imposition of mandatory economic controls, the adoption of a national health program, or any congressional or federal agency action which has a significantly adverse effect on the financial structure of the employer during the life of the agreement, either party may reopen the same upon 60 days written notice, and request renegotiation of the provisions of this agreement directly affected by such action. There shall be no limitation of time for such written notice upon the failure of the parties to agree in such negotiations. Within 60 days thereafter, either party shall be permitted all lawful economic recourse to support its request for any revisions. Now, if any governmental approval of revision should become necessary, all parties shall cooperate to the utmost to attain such approval. The parties agree that the notice provided herein shall be accepted by all parties as compliance with the notice requirements of applicable law, so as to permit economic action at an expiration thereof. In the event of the declaration of a national emergency due to a pandemic, either the union or the company, through its president of labor relations, may serve notice to engage in bargaining over the effects of the pandemic. The parties shall meet within 5 business days of either party serving notice under this section. However, there shall be no modifications of this agreement under the provisions without approval of the union. Now, speaking of the union, I did get one of the union members' numbers. But the union member got the union member's number that I got is higher up. He's the higher up union member. He's like the president of the board of the union, and that's whose number I got. Now, it's always good to have at least one union member's number in your phone, so that if there's any bitch complaints that you have, you can bitch to the union about your grievances, and they will listen. Now, in the event of any labor dispute between any employer party to the agreement and any International Brotherhood of Teamsters union parties to this or any other International Brotherhood of Teamsters agreement during the course of this dispute, such union engages in lawful economic activities which are not in violation of this or any other agreement, then any other affiliate of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters having an agreement with such employer shall have the right only if sanctioned pursuant to the procedures of the International Constitution, and only after receiving such sanctions, to engage in lawful economic activity against any such employer in support of the above first mentioned union. That's notwithstanding anything to the contrary in this agreement or the International Brotherhood of Teamsters agreement between such employer and such other affiliate. That was the end of Article 28, sympathetic action. Now we got Article 29, which falls under jury duty. You know, every year somebody gets picked for jury duty. Now, Section 29, Article 1, jury duty. When a seniority employee is called for jury duty service, they shall be excused from their regular duties on the days that they are required to appear in court or to comply with jury rules that prevent them from reporting for work. From any regular scheduled workday in which time off for such service is granted. Now the full-time employee shall be paid the guarantee, and part-time employees shall receive their 4 hours pay at their straight-time hourly rate. Any less amount received as a jury duty fee if such fees are defined as wages under applicable law. The employee shall be required, however, to turn over to the employer adequate proof of their jury duty service and compensation of any, or in order to receive the compensation provided above. Employees who are scheduled to work a day shift shall not be required to report for work on any day that they are required to report for jury duty unless released from any jury duty not less than 6 hours prior to the end of their regularly scheduled work shift, and in any which event those should be allowed 2 hours of time from the time that they were released from jury duty to report to work for the remainder of the regularly scheduled work shift. Employees scheduled to work any shift other than the day shift shall not be required to report to work on any day that they are required to report for jury duty unless they have been released from jury duty not less than 4 hours prior to the start of time of their regular shift, and provided further that they would complete such shift not less than 10 hours prior to the time that they are required to report for jury duty the next following day. Notwithstanding the above, no employee working other than a day shift shall be required to report to work on a night if they have served jury duty that day and that such service prevents them from reporting for work. Now, in any event that an employee returns to work after being released from jury duty and works beyond their regularly scheduled work day, such hours worked shall be compensated for the applicable overtime rate of pay. An employee who is required to report for jury duty during a week of previously scheduled vacation may select another available week of vacation. Now, time spent on jury duty service shall be considered time worked for purposes of the employer contributions to health and welfare and pension plans, vacation eligibility and payment, holidays, and seniority in accordance with the applicable provisions of this agreement. Section 29, Article 2. Now, this covers funeral. UPS also has bereavement time. If you have a family member that dies, UPS offers bereavement leave for up to 4 days. So you get like up to 4 days of bereavement time to grieve over the death of somebody. Like in October, I lost my mother. I waited until my senior. I waited until my to my union stuff kicked in, and then I took 4 days off, or actually, I took 5 days off because I took it towards the weekend. So I ended up taking it that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I came back to work that next Monday. This was back in November. Anyway, when I did that. Now, in the event of a death of a member of the employee's family, a seniority employee shall be allowed a reasonable time off to attend the funeral or other bereavement rites. Members of the employee's family mean spouse, child, stepchild, grandchild, mother, father, brother, sister, grandparents, mother-in-law, and father-in-law, and any step-parents if they have any. A regular full-time employee shall be guaranteed 2 days off to be taken between the day of death and 2 days working following the funeral, provided that the employee attends the funeral or other bereavement rites. In cases involving the funeral of a relative listed in paragraph 2 above, an employee who attends the funeral or bereavement rites is guaranteed a minimum of 2 days off. An employee shall be allowed 1 day off to attend the funeral or other bereavement rites of a sister-in-law, brother, or a brother-in-law, spouse, or grandparent. Reimbursement for this shall be the same as provided above and below. Now, time off shall not extend beyond the day of the funeral, unless an additional day is required for travel, or if the death is of the member's spouse, child, or parent, except as provided above. In no event shall total compensated time off exceed 4 scheduled workdays. The employee shall be reimbursed at 8 times the employer's straight time hourly rate of pay for each day that they missed. And for each day lost from work for those employees whose regular scheduled workday is 5 days, and 10 times the straight time hourly rate of pay for those employees whose regular scheduled workday is 4 days. Part-time employees shall receive the same benefits as above, paid at 4 times the employer's hourly rate. Section 29, Article 3, Tax Deferred Savings Program, which is the 401k plan. The employer and the union agreed to continue the Teamsters UPS National 401k savings plan. The employer shall pay the record-keeping expense for the plan. It's further agreed by the union and the employer that the employee shall withhold from an employee's earnings amounts mutually agreed upon between the employer and the employee, and deposit such monies into a 401k account in the employee's name in compliance with the Internal Revenue Code and the ERISA. The plan shall be jointly administered by the union and the employer itself. Article 30, Jurisdictional Disputes. In the event that any dispute should arise between the union party to this agreement and any other union relating to jurisdiction, other employees, or operations covered by this agreement, the employer agrees to accept and comply with the decision or settlement of the unions or the union tribunals which have the authority to determine such dispute. Now the parties do not intend by this paragraph to take away the employer's right to designate the home domicile of his employees provided. However, that any employers adversely affected shall have recourse to the grievance procedure. The employer further agrees that prior to the change of the domicile of any of its employees, it shall notify the union. Article 31, Garnishments. The employer may not discipline or discharge any employee by reason of the fact that their earnings have been subjected to garnishment or wage assignment. Okay, that should be it for today for that. And then we'll get to next week, starting on Article 32, subcontracting. That will be for next week. Also, if you guys want to check it out, I also am a frequent guest on a podcast. I don't know, and you can find the podcast on Spotify or Podbean or whatever app that you guys use. I'm a frequent contributor on the Overnight Drive podcast, and that's where I got discovered at. I gained some exposure from them by them bringing me on to be like a host with them. So if you want to check out Overnight Drive's podcast, you can see the first episode I ever was introduced on was episode 278 called Fort Plow, or 279. It was one of those. But it's good to feel loved and good to be noticed by some people. Next, now to throw in a couple of news stories. I am a big baseball fan. Next month, in a few weeks, baseball season will be starting their spring training session. So in February they'll start spring training, and then by April they should have the opening day starting. Um, we also have the wildfires going in California. Stephen King, who's an author and an occasional actor, has stated that he believes that the Oscars should be canceled in light of the firefight of the wildfires going on, and I agree with him that I agree that it should be canceled until they can put the wildfires out. Um, then we have we had Bob Uecker die. Bob Uecker used to be a former baseball player turned actor, um, and announcer too. Japanese star Sasaki says he's joining the Dodgers. Um, this is a yes or no question. Should Sosa be on the Hall of should Sammy Sosa be on the Hall of Fame ballot? That's a yes or no answer. I say no because he tested positive for steroids. That basically should be an automatic no in that aspect. Then we got basketball. I was not happy my Bulls lost yesterday. 2 times this week they lost to shitty teams, and if you're trying to like get further into a winning record, you cannot be losing to shitty fucking teams. The Bulls did that twice already this week. Um, no, we're gonna have to see exactly where we're gonna go from there. But yeah, check out Overnight Drive podcast on either Podbean or Spotify. I'm kind of in Chicago right now anyway because I live in Roble Springs, so I'm about 20 minutes from Chicago. Um, I'm about 15 minutes away from Brookfield Zoo, and about 30 minutes away from what's the other one, Lincoln Park Zoo. So I'm close to those areas. Um, Once I get a second job and I get a car and a license, I could take off and do what I want to do. There is one place I want to check out. One of the roommates was telling me in Melrose Park they have a sex theater. They have a sex theater where people can perform sexual acts in front of other people if they wanted to. It's like a swingers party, and I want to go check it out, but I don't have the money to get there. But maybe one day. Not in my area. The cops are close to my area. The cops and fire department are right down the street from the fire department and the cops are right down the street from where I live at, so they can be here within a few minutes' time. I don't hear any shooting in this area, which is actually kind of a good thing. So, and Willow Springs is one of the more nicer areas. You don't hear any crimes. You don't really see any crimes being committed in the area. You don't hear any shooting, no nothing, and that's good for me because I don't want to hear shooting if I don't have to. But in my area, there's a lot of boats that go by because I'm not too far from a river. Um, I'm right down the street from the Des Plaines River, so you see a lot of boats go by. We do have a lot of walking trails that lead into the woods. There's a lot of nature trails. And stuff like that, so that's kind of a good thing. And job hunting for the past couple of weeks has been sucking because I've been turned down by a lot of jobs due to not having a lot of experience for the shit that they want. That pisses me off because I'm like, how am I going to get experience if you don't hire me? I had an interview with one job like last week, but then the fuckers never contacted me back, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna have you start within the week." I'm like, really? Because this has been almost 2 weeks and I haven't heard shit back from you guys, and I can't keep waiting. So I started going and applying for other jobs. I'm like, I can't keep waiting for this other job to contact back, knowing that they probably won't. So I had to move on and just start doing other stuff. Um, I am an avid reader. I do have a lot of books here. These are most of my books inside this thing. That white part was from the wall when they had to get in when the pipe burst. Those two boxes over there have a lot of books in them, and I love to read. That's how I keep myself busy. Um, so you know how that is. Um, yeah. Something must have got spilled in my bedroom. I have one friend, Angie. She's the one that got me in. Um, my friend Angie has been working for UPS for 17 years, and she got me into the job. Um, but everybody's pretty friendly with everybody, except for the supervisors. The supervisors try to treat you like shit, but I just ignore the supervisors when I can. Um, yeah. And I got my computer here because I like my computer. My computer actually helps me out to look up stuff because it's a bigger screen. And then when I do my YouTube videos, I can set my phone on this thing where I face it towards me, and then I could just read off the computer what I need to talk about. That does help me in my favor. But when I got this, um, um, God, let me see if this thing is still on here. Let me see. Okay, I want to turn that off. I'm turning the auto rotation off. That's when your phone screen turns with the direction you're facing it. If you turn it sideways, your phone's supposed to turn sideways if you have the auto rotate on. If you have it off, then your phone just stays the way it is. Let's see here. We have been having a lot of people dying too. I've been noticing that too. Not just baseball, but we had some actors that died. Um, let's see if I can pull that up. Yes, David Lynch died. I remember that. But there's also been a lot of actors that died too. There was somebody from Doctor Who, which I've never really got into that show. I've never really seen an episode, but I've heard of it. Um, we had some famous singers die too. Um, oh shit, Martin Truex Sr. died. He was NASCAR. I remember him. Um, then you had Joan Plowright. She was a big time actress. She was in Enchanted April, A Taste of Honey, and 101 Dalmatians. Then you had Bob Uecker, who was a baseball player, broadcaster, and then he also played in Mr. Belvedere. Um, then you had some guy named Paul Damon, who was from Hollyoaks and Celebrity Love Island. I don't think I've ever saw those two. Um, then you had Diane Langton, Melba Montgomery, who was American country singer. David Lynch, yep, he was on here. Um, Then you had Gus Williams, who was a big-time basketball player back in the 70s and up into the 80s. He died. I'm a big basketball fan, especially if the guys, even if the guys don't play like for my team, I still like to keep track of every record that those players have held. Um, let's see if I can disappear. You had Tony Slattery die, who was in The Crying Game and Peter's Friends. I never saw any of those shows. Let's see here. Yep. You had Leslie Charleston die, who was in General Hospital. Never got into that show either. I was not big into soap operas. You had Claude Jarman die. He was in the Yearling. He was in the movie The Yearling. That was the one about the deer. Then Robert McElroy died. He was in Cheers. Never saw that show either. Didn't care to. Coyote died. Coyote was an American TikTok influencer. I don't really use TikTok. I've been on it a few times, but never really seen it. We had Meryl Louise die. Meryl Louise was an American actress. She was in Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I don't know if that's the original one or if that was the one with Johnny Depp. And she was also in To the Woods and in the movie Gypsy. Never gotten that. Then you had Christopher Benjamin die. Christopher Benjamin was in Doctor Who, Judge John Deed, and The Plague Dogs. I gotta look up Meryl Louise's name. We had Felix Mantilla die, who was a baseball player back from the 1950s and 60s. And then you had the guy from Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Jail, and Ernest Scared Stupid die. That was Bill Burge. Yep, and then pretty soon we're almost reaching the end of January and going into February. Man, time is just flying this year. Yeah, kind of unexpected. And then pretty soon, in 4 months, in almost 5 months, my birthday will be here, and I'll just be another year older than what I already am. Yeah, no, I'm getting old already. I can feel it too. So, if you guys are interested in more videos like this, I'll keep doing them. But the Union book is almost done with. I only got like 100 pages more to read, and that maybe not even that. And then I'll still try to keep you updated on going-ons at UPS. I gotta see if I can find a video where I can show you what I tripped over. Let's see if I can find it on my Facebook page. Hold on here. I had this the other day. I found a restaurant in my area to go to called Willow Springs Restaurant, and this is what I had the other day. This is called a steak skillet. I had that the other day. It was so delicious. So I keep myself entertained with all this. This is something I would not do. This particular type of thing. Some people get fired for stupid shit. There's a meme here that I had posted, and only a couple people had commented on it, and it says, I got somebody named Daddy Doolittle says, I got fired today and I don't care. And then somebody named Woe into Thee says, "I hope you're okay and find something better soon." And then Daddy Doolittle responds back with, "I could gargle balls behind the Wendy's for pocket change and I'd still be better off." And some guy named Jake Cabin 73 says, "Haha, that's the spirit, so man. Which Wendy's?" Okay, so it might not be on this. I gotta look for something else. Okay, yeah, it's not on there. Um, Let me see if I can go to the UPS actual site. Um, and I'll show you if I can find it, because I know that they're in here somewhere. I don't need, okay, images. I need to look for the ones that are inside the warehouse where they have the rollers, and I'll show you what I tripped over if I can find a photo of it. Okay, let me just make. Okay, so here is the rollers. Um, um, let's see if I can show. Let's see if I can find one that I actually need to show you. Um, okay, that's not going to be easy. Let's go back up front. Okay, so these rollers right here. There's a handlebar underneath like this. If you could zoom in, we'll zoom in here. This little handlebar underneath here is what I tripped over, and that's what I banged my knee on. That fucking hurt like hell, and I was in so much pain. So, but yeah, but that's not easy. I'm telling you. So, but that's what I got hit upon. That's what I fell on, and it wasn't easy trying to get back up. So I'm gonna go because I got some stuff to take care of. But if you guys like the video, I'm willing to put up more videos like this, especially live streams, even like what they call those little short clips, like those little short videos. I'm gonna get into those also. So if you like the video, you can give me a like and subscribe on the channel if you want more videos like this. You guys are welcome to leave comments every time I come on. Like every time I do my live streams, you guys are welcome to come on, leave comments, ask any questions, stuff like that that pertain to the area. But make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. I do have a what they call a what's the thing I'm looking for? Patreon, sorry. I have a Patreon link if you guys are willing to donate to help the cause. Right now I'm sitting at 456 subscribers. We're gonna try to break 500. Hopefully we can get 500 this year, if not more, subscribers. So we're gonna try to work on that by breaking the 500 subscriber mark, and hopefully we can get 500 or more by before the end of the year. And I'll see you guys next week. And thanks for tuning in.